Hey guys, today we're gonna talk about partners in Chaos Zero Nightmare. We're gonna go over every single partner and we're gonna assign the best possible partner to every single character in this game. Of course, I will present you with the best in slot free-to-play options as well, in case you don't want to invest your resources into pulling for partners, which you absolutely shouldn't. That is because a general rule applies here, and that is that a fully duped out free-to-play option, right? Let's take Douglas for example. A fully maxed out Douglas, he belongs to the striker category, and if you compare him with the pay options, right, with the best striker partner options in the entire game, and you fully dupe out those best in slot striker partners and compare them with the Douglas directly, the difference will be roughly about 4 to 5% from the best in slot striker for a character compared to Douglas. And yeah, a 4 to 5% difference is absolutely pathetic, and that's why no one should ever consider even pulling for a partner in the first place, and always default to the free-to-play option. Because look, you have a fully maxed out, fully duped out Douglas, right? But you don't even have one copy of the true best in slot striker partner, you know? And to gain a fully duped out best in slot striker, you can like evaluate yourself how many resources that would cost you, and it is completely unreasonable. So don't ever pull for any partner character in this game ever, and just go for the free-to-play options. We're gonna go now over every single category and see what's going on when it comes to the best in slot partners for every single role and attribute. So let's start off by looking at the striker role. First, let's take a look what striker characters are even available in the game. We have 5 of those. Those are Rin, Mei Lin, Yuki, Haru and Owen. Alright, now let's take a look at what partners we could assign to those strikers. And as we go along, you will realize that it's actually really dumbed down and super simple to find out who the best in slot partner for every character in this game is. Let's start off by looking at the character Westmacott, right? Let's read what Westmacott does. Attack cards of the assigned character drawn by their ability have their damage increased by 50% for one turn. Damage amount of cards with the assigned character's inspiration increased by 20%. You can already see, right? Yuki is the only character in this game that synergizes around inspiration, that has this mechanic. So you already know that, yeah, this is gonna be the best in slot partner in the game for Yuki. Additionally, you can move a card from your hand to the draw pile, and then you get a card for the assigned character. So yeah, you even have the ability to trigger your inspiration via the ego skill, who costs 3. So Westmacott is the best in slot partner for the character Yuki. Okay, we can then move on to the next striker attribute partner with Asteria. You will see here again that this is very simple to figure out, right? What does Asteria do? The assigned combatants attack cards with a cost of 2 or more deal plus 25% damage. Every time you hear that cards with a cost of 2 or more deal additional damage, it should, if you know anything about this game, scream to you Haru. And this is what it is. Let's keep reading though. Plus 10% damage for the assigned combatants pulverize cards. If we go into game, right, if you ask yourself like, hey, what even is a pulverize card to begin with? And yeah, you already know that the name Haru came up, and if you now go and look at her signature ability Anchor Shot, you will see this is actually a pulverize card. You know what I mean? And this is how you easily figure out that this is the best partner in the game for the character Haru. I won't go into that much of an explanation for every single partner in the game, so yeah, we will move faster from here on out. Let's take a look at the ego skill real quick though, just for completion's sake. Plus 20% damage of the next attack card used by the assigned character for the total cost of cards in hand, blah blah blah. So Asteria is the best possible partner in the entire game to assign to Haru. Next up we have the partner Marianne. She is about the assigned character's damage to break through enemies is increased by 15%. Breakthrough means ravaged. The assigned combatant's basic cards apply weak damage to their opponent, and you can deal 350% damage with the ego skill to one of your characters. That is gonna be the best in slot partner in the game for the character Mei Lin. I guess you know why. Yeah, as I said, like, I won't explain everything into deep detail, right? Just trust me with what I'm saying here. Then next up we have the partner Scarlet, and that says that if you combo cards, they will deal plus 15% more damage if they are attack cards, of course, and this can stack up to two times. It is removed, yada yada, right? What this all boils down to here is that the more attack cards you use per turn, the more damage those cards will deal. Then the ego skill does 250% damage, plus 10% for the assigned character's attack card damage per buff owned. This is the best in slot partner for the character Rin, because yeah, Rin is all about using a lot of attack cards per turn, and then yeah, this stacks up and it combos, and Scarlet is the best in slot partner for Rin right there. Okay, now we have a bunch of more characters, yeah, but first let's go over every single 5-star. So let's cover Priscilla as well real quick. She says that the assigned character's HP and damage is increased by 8%, plus 25% damage dealt by the assigned character to the targets in the break state. Again, to characters that are ravaged. You deal 250% damage with her ego skill, and apply weakness attack to one assigned character's random attack cards in hand. So yeah, you gonna attack for weakness and you gonna ravage the enemy really fast. This is the best in slot partner in the game for the character Owen, because he's all about being a hybrid between dealing damage but also applying shields and giving you a little bit of damage. He applies vulnerable, which then leads to a faster ravage, etc, etc, and everything here, like this a HP and damage increase, the ravage state and everything is perfectly catered towards the character Owen. So Priscilla is the best in slot partner for the character Owen. Now we have, of course, our free-to-play options and two characters that I would say are the middle ground, right? Low spender or lucky options if you want. The free-to-play option I already presented you for the strikers is Douglas. You can just slot you can just slot Douglas onto every single striker in the game and he will get the job done perfectly fine. Everyone has Douglas fully duped out, so this is a very good option that you can just use if you have him, right? Let's go over what he does. The assigned character's attack is increased by 8%. At the start of the battle, damage dealt by the character increases by 8% for one turn, and you deal 120% damage to all enemies. This will of course increase the more you level him up and the more you dupe him out. So yeah, if you are looking for a partner for the striker role, let me say it like that, Douglas is always a good choice. Then we have two characters that are in the middle, right? If you say, Douglas is not good enough, or you have one of those middle ground characters, then of course you're gonna use them instead of Douglas if you have enough dupes. I would always recommend staying with Douglas unless you have a better option than Douglas, also fully duped out. If you miss a dupe for a partner that would be theoretically better than Douglas, still keep using Douglas. Okay, but now let's talk a little bit about the character, the partner Ritoshka. What does she do? The assigned character attack cards with a cost of 1 or less deal 10% more damage. At the start of the turn, one of the assigned character's attack cards gain plus 5% damage for every point of the total cost of those attack cards. And her ego skill for 2 points gives you 3 morale for 1 turn. Alright, we're gonna of course have to compare the middle ground characters with each other and figure out one of those is actually the better one. So keep in mind what Ritoshka does. And now let's take a look at Lillian, as both of those are 4-star partners. Lillian does: the assigned character's attack cards with a cost of 1 or less deal 10% damage. Exactly the same as Ritoshka. Then, when the assigned characters uses a skill card, plus 10% attack card damage for 1 turn, and this can stack up to 3 times. The ego skill for 3 points deals 100% damage to all enemies. You draw an attack card from the assigned character with a cost of 1 or equal to 1 or less. Okay, so the better character here is without question Lillian. Definitely. If you want to go for a middle option, for a 4-star partner as a striker, then you're gonna go for Lillian instead of Ritoshka pretty much 100% of the times. Okay, and that's all about the striker characters and partners. Let's move on to the Vanguard role, and the characters available in the game for the Vanguard category are Khalib, Magna, Amir and Maribel. Alright, let's check out the Vanguard partners right here, starting off with the partner Erika. Let's see what Erika does. She does the assigned character's counter attack damage increases by 15%. When the assigned character uses a skill or upgrade card, there is a 50% chance to gain an additional counter attack. The ego skill for 2 points deals 200% defense based damage to all enemies. You gain a counter attack. If an enemy's an anticipated attack, whatever that means, you gain a counter attack, right? So you're gonna go back, look at the characters, see which of those characters right here synergizes well and is all about applying counter attacks, and you will realize that this character is Magna. So the partner Maribel, no, the partner Erika is gonna be the best in slot partner for the character Magna. Alright, then let's move on. We have the partner Zeta. What he does is, the defense-based damage of the assigned combatant's instinct cards is increased by 15%. Plus 25% damage to celestial cards that deal defense-based damage, and the shield that they provide is also increased by 25%. The ego skill for 2 deals 200% defense-based damage, and you draw 1 card with the highest cost. That is of course obviously the best in slot partner for Khalib, because she's all about using vulture ejection for free. This is a celestial card, it deals defense based damage and it applies a shield. So there we go, Zeta is the best in slot partner for the character Khalib. Then moving on to the partner Aishlan. Excuse me if I butchered it, I don't know how to pronounce that name. But anyways, what Aishlan does is the character's health and shield gain are increased by 8%. When the assigned character gains a counter attack, plus 15% defense based damage. The ego skill for 4 applies a 100% shield, and at the end of the turn you retain 50% of your shield. So Aishlan is all about right here. She has counter attacks, defense based damage increased, and you retain 50% of your shield. So this is gonna be the best in slot for both Amir and Maribel, especially Amir though, because she profits more from all of this counter attack shenanigans that is going on. But retaining 50% of your shield is extremely good for Maribel. Alright, and those were the 3 5-star partners for our Vanguards. Everyone has like a best in slot 5-star, of course. Then our free-to-play option here is Radial, right? Remember, whenever you have him, fully dupe him out, use him on every single Vanguard that you have available in the game, and you're gonna be 100% completely fine. What he does is, he increases the max health by 8%, and if the assigned character is in the counter-attack state, their defense-based damage is increased by a further 8%. You gain a 100% shield plus a counter-attack for his ego skill that cost 2. Cool. Then we have of course our 2 characters that are middle ground, right? With Rachel and Wilhelmina. Let's first take a look at what Rachel does and then draw a comparison. The assigned character's skill card shield gain is increased by 10%. When our character gains a shield, 20% chance to gain a counter attack. Her ego skilled for 2 gives us a shield and draws us 1 card. That is pretty solid already. But let's check out Wilhelmina as well, right? So that we are able to draw a comparison between these 2. Wilhelmina does that the defense is increased by 12% for the assigned character, and when our character targets a vulnerable enemy, plus 10% defense-based damage of attack cards. We gain, through her ego skill for 2 points, 2 morale for a turn and 1 fortitude for a turn. Yeah, that is a very obvious choice and a very easy call to make, that if you want to use a Vanguard partner that is better than Radial and you don't have Erika, Zeta or Aislan, then you should always go for Rachel over Wilhelmina. Alright, that was it for the Vanguard category. Next up we have our controller, aka support category. And the characters here are Orlea, Nia, Mika, Cassius and Ray. Looking at the partners for the support category is super strange, right? Our support category is extremely far left behind when it comes to memory fragments and also when it comes to the partners that are available. Let me tell you why. Let's first of all take a look at Noelle, and it is laughably obvious here who Noelle belongs to. Check this out. Plus 15% to the character's retained cards damage, shield and HP. At the end of the turn, deal fixed damage to all enemies equal to 15% for each retained card of the assigned character. Plus 5% damage for enemies with the extinct attribute. The ego skill for 3 points heals us by 100%, and we activate the retain effects of all cards held by our character. Okay, now the only character that this can even be used on is of course Orlea. So Noelle is the best in slot partner in the game for the character Orlea. Now we only have 1 more 5-star left, but we have 4 other support characters left. So you might already be able to tell what is happening with our partner called Nyx. Let's first of all read what she does. The character's HP and healing is increased by 8% and draws for the first time each turn using an ability gain plus 8% damage dealt by allies for 1 turn. It's a team-wide buff whenever we would draw by an ability. Then the ego skill for 4 points discards up to 3 cards. We draw 1 card equal to the number of cards that we have previously discarded. Alright, so since this is the only other 5-star, we have to use her if we want a best in slot partner for all the other different supports that we have. So the partner Nyx is gonna be the best in slot partner for the characters Nia, Mika, Cassius and Ray all together. The only support, quote unquote, support character that got her signature partner in this role is Olea with no L. Okay, then our free-to-play option is Yvonne. Again, you per out, use on every single controller in the game and you're gonna be fine. Don't pull ever for other partners. What Yvonne does is the character's defense is increased by 8%, and if the partner ends the turn without using an attack card, we heal 30% at the start of the next turn. The ego skill for 2 points heals us by 100%, and we gain a fortitude for 1 turn. See, very solid, very straightforward, very good in fact. Now let's check out if the middle options are Alyssa and Aaron, and yeah, who's gonna be better of those two? First of all, let's check out Alyssa. The assigned character defense is increased by 12%. At the end of the battle, you recover 3 health. That's terrible. The ego skill for 2 points heals us by 100%, plus 50% healing amount while in an injured state, whatever that means, and we gain a morale for 1 turn. Cool. Can already tell you that this partner is complete garbage. And Aaron is gonna be way better. But let's read what Aaron actually does. The assigned character's HP and healing are increased by 8%. And then, yeah, we get a whole bunch of damage reduction added here. The ego skill for 3 points heals us by 200% and we gain a damage reduction. Yeah, Aaron is by far the better partner to choose compared to Alyssa. So again, use Nyx on every single support in the game except for Olea, there you use Noelle. If you want something better than Yvonne, you go for Aaron. And that's it about the support category called Controller in this game. Next up we have the Ranger category. And the characters that fall into this category are Veronica, Hugo, Selena and Beryl. Okay, now let's take a look at their partners. Starting off by looking at Marin. Or Marin. What she does is the extra attack damage of cards generated by the assigned combatant's abilities increase by 15%, aka Veronica's Ballista. When the assigned combatant uses a skill, card, plus 25% extra damage for 1 turn. Then, her ego skill for 3 points deals 200% damage to all enemies, and we draw a skill card. That means that Marin or Marin is gonna be the best in slot partner for the character Veronica. Moving on to the next 5-star is Tina. What Tina does is Order attributes attack damage increase by 15%. You see, it even makes me laugh how like blatantly obvious and easy to tell how dumbed down this is. This is gonna be the best in slot partner for Hugo. Plus 25% extra attack damage from targeting attack cards. That's what Hugo is all about. Her ego skill for 2 points draws us a card and increase the combatant's extra attack damage by 30% for 1 turn. So again, Tina is gonna be the best in slot partner for the character Hugo. Then next up, another 5-star, we have Solia. Let's read what Solia does. Plus 20 extra attack damage to the assigned character. When the assigned character draws for the first time each turn using an ability, plus 10% attack card damage for 1 turn. The ego skill for 3 points deals 250% damage and applies a mark. You guessed it, Solia is gonna be the best in slot partner for the character Selena. Then next up, let's see, who do we have? That's it. Our free to play option for this category is gonna be Nakia. What Nakia does is the reassigned combatant's attack is increased by 8%, whatever that means. When an ally defeats an enemy, gain backline support. Backline support is plus 10% damage of attack cards. Upon activation, backline support is reduced by 1. It can stack up to 3 times, and the ego skill for 2 points deals 200 damage to one enemy. Alright, that's gonna be our free-to-play option. Then we have again 2 middle ground options with Rosaria and Daisy. Let's check out Rosaria first. What she does is, the assigned combatant's additional attack damage is increased by 10%. When the assigned combatant uses an upgrade or skill card, 25% chance to gain a morale for the turn. The ego skill for 2 points draws 1 enhanced card. If there is no enhanced cards in the draw pile, you just simply draw a card. Pretty solid. Let's check out what Daisy is all about. The assigned combatant's additional attack damage is increased by 10%. When the assigned combatant draws for the first time each turn using an ability, there's a 20% chance to gain a morale for the turn. That's terrible. Then the ego skill for 2 applies 180% shield plus a morale for the turn. No, absolutely not. Rosaria is way better than Daisy is. So free to play option Nakia. If you don't have a 5-star, if you want something better than Nakia, you go always for Rosaria 100% of the time. Okay, that's it for the Ranger category. Next up we have the Hunter category, and the characters that fall into this category are Luke, Renoa and Lucas. Alright, let's take a look at the partners, starting off with Kiara. What Kiara is all about is, if there are 10 or more cards in the graveyard, the assigned combatant's attack card damage is increased by 15%. When the character discards a card, plus 25% attack card damage for the turn. The ego skill for 3 points deals 200 damage, plus 20% damage by numbers of cards in the graveyard. You know that this is the best in slot character free for Renoa right out of the gate, because Renoa is all about creating a whole bunch of dirge bullets and discarding them, of course, into the graveyard. So we will fill up the graveyard very fast, and that's why Kiara is the best in slot partner for Renoa. Next up we have Sarithea. What Sarithea is all about is, the critical chance of the combatant's attack cards are increased by 8%, more crit damage, cool. When the assigned combatant's attack results in a critical hit, plus 3 critical damage. Stacks up to 5 times. The ego skill for 3 points deals 200% damage to one target, and we apply 2 vulnerable. That is obviously gonna be the best in slot for the character Luke. So Sarithea, best in slot partner for the character Luke. Then we have one more 5-star here with Janet. What Janet is all about is, plus 9% critical chance of the assigned combatant's attack cards that cost 1 or less. When the assigned combatant uses 5 bullet cards, generate a random handgun bullet card. The generated card deals plus 50% damage. The ego skill for 3 points deals 150% damage to all enemies, and for 1 turn plus 20% designated combatant's bullet cards damage. Alright, now if you read the term handgun bullet, you would immediately jump to the conclusion and say, hey, this is gonna be the best in slot for Luke and not Sarithea. That is not true, because Sarithea is much more beneficial to Luke, because increasing crit rate is the best thing you can possibly have on Luke by far. And this one goes, this character Janet here goes to Lucas, because he is also all about using attack cards that cost 1 or less. He synergizes better around this ego skill, because he also has a skill that deals damage to all enemies, and it is a very important part to his kit. Having an ego skill that also deals damage to all enemies helps out there beautifully, right? Alright, then we can move on to the free to play option for the hunter role, and that is gonna be Yuri. what Yuri does is, the assigned character's attack is increased by 8%. Upon the first shuffle, the assigned combatant's damage dealt is increased by 8%. And the ego skill for 3 points draws us 2 cards. Very, very, yeah, convenient and adding a bunch of consistency there. Then our middle options are Karate and Akkad. Let's check out Karate first. What she does is, at the start of the turn, the damage of 1 attack cards is increased by 10%. When the character generates a card for the first time, their attack card damage is increased by 10% for 1 turn. Ego skill for 2 points does, for 1 turn, increase the damage of cards generated by the assigned combatant's abilities for 20%. Okay. Not too great, very specific, but if it works, not too shabby. You gotta play around it and actually make that partner work though. That is a little bit of a downside. Now let's check out Akkad. The damage of the combatant's bullet cards is increased by 10. That's already very fantastic. It gets better though. When the combatant lands their first critical hit, bullet card damage increases by 12% for the turn. Ego skill for 2 points says that for 1 turn, plus 25% critical chance of designated combat attack cards. So yeah, you can easily tell that Akkad is way better than Karate, especially for characters that have bullets, which all the hunters have. So always use Akkad over Karate, like in pretty much every single scenario right there. And that's it for the hunter category. Last but not least, we have our Psionic category, aka our mages, which are only Karen and Tressa. So let's check out their partners, starting off by looking at the partner Bria. What she does is, when the assigned combatant generates a card, attack card damage is increased by 10% for the turn. This can stack up to 3 times. That's already incredible. When the assigned combatant generates a status ailment card for the first time, which the futility cards are, then plus 25% attack card damage for the turn. Her ego skill for 3 points says, from the discard pile, exhaust all status ailment cards, which are our futility cards, and curse cards. For each card exhausted, plus 10% designated combatant's attack card damage for 1. This is absolutely incredible, right? Every time you check out anything when it comes to the character Karen, be it the equipment, or be it this partner right here, be it anything, it's just absolutely incredible. Karen is like one of, if not even the, I think he's the best character in the game. Every time something synergizes with Karen, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, that is really fucking good. So yeah, Bria is the best in slot partner for Karen, not even close there. Then moving on to the partner Antea. Let's see what she's about. The assigned character's HP and damage is increased by 8% when the assigned character generates a card, plus 8% attack card damage for 1 turn. Ego skill for 2 points, 800% damage to all enemies, and we apply a vulnerable. Yeah, we would give this one to Tressa. You could even argue that Bria is better for Tressa as well. But since we give Bria already to Karen, we're gonna give Antea to Tressa. It's not that great of a partner to begin with though, if I'm being honest. Okay, here our free-to-play option is Zatara. What he does is, the assigned character's attack card is increased by 8%. When injured, at the end of the battle, which is always terrible, you recover 4% health. The ego skill for 2 points is pretty good, because for 2 points, 200% shield is quite a lot. So there we go. That's the free-to-play option for the Psionic characters. Here we only have one middle ground character, that if you have Eloise fully duped out, then you should use her instead of Zatanna. Yeah, I explained that earlier. You know how this goes. What Eloise is all about is the character's attack card damage is increased by 10%. That's more than 8, so she's a little bit better. You see, right? A little bit better. When the combatants first exhaust, when the character first exhausts a card or first gains a status ailment card, their attack card damage is increased by 12% for the turn. Phenomenal. Then her ego skill for 3 points says for 1 turn, when a card is exhausted, you apply a weaken to the random enemy. Yeah, that is an ego skill that you should never use. But that is not a big deal. That is still a fantastic partner character, no matter what. And yeah, see, that was it. We don't have to compare middle ground characters in the Psionic world, so that's about it. And that is also it about the video, guys. I hope this was fun and informative. If you like Chaos Zero Nightmare content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, don't forget to join the Discord server, link in the description down below. Once you will see this video, I will be live streaming this game for many hours on twitch.tv. Link to this channel will also be in the description down below. So please check it out, come in and say hi, or even hang out with me a little bit. Take care of yourselves, have a great day, peace and love.